Please welcome Darren Hinkel. So, tell us a little bit about the Black Dirt Company. What is the Black Dirt Company?
Well, the Black Dirt Company, the Black Dirt Company is simple. It's a landscape supply company. It's a trucking company. We specialize in landscape supply. There's no bells or whistles to this business.
How about a little bit of the history? How it was started? What a little bit about the grassroots of the company.
Well, as you already said, back in the day, Keith and Connie Hinkel, they were contracted by one of our developers, Gil Cook, to strip some topsoil off that corner section off of Highway 16A and Jennifer Isle. And as they were stripping the topsoil and screening it for resale, sometimes people would come into the yard and ask for little things like, do you have any sand? Do you have any gravel? Do you have any wood chips or mulch? And at that point in time, they never did have anything other than just topsoil. And so as they were stripping the topsoil and as they were screening and working on that corner, a lot of traffic was driving by, they got a lot of exposure. Eventually, to be better employers to who we had working at the time, actually it was my cousin Bobby Campbell. They had a shack, they had a place where he could go and have a lunch break, maybe a porta potty, a water cooler and things like that. And then for whatever reason, in case he needed to get a hold of anyone, they put in a phone. Well, the phone rang for no reason. We didn't have the number out to Yellow Pages or anything like that. The phone rings. Bobby was on lunch break. He didn't know what to do. So he answers the phone and he stutters and he goes, hello, the Black Dirt Company. The name, the Black Dirt Company, was a complete accident.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Not a word of a lie. So, we still tell that story today. And at that time, all it was a little bit of topsoil, a little bit of screening, and of course it took us, 3, 4, 5 years to do a quarter section, and now we can do a quarter section in less than a year and a half. So it's really interesting how that all worked out. And my mom said it perfectly one time. She says, it was our customers that created the Black Dirt Company, because all we did was strip topsoil. But then they came in and they asked for things like gravel and sand and just landscaping decorative products that they started bringing in. And another really cool thing is that the permit that we had to work on the corner of Highway 16A and Jennifer Howell Way was a temporary permit. We had it renewed every single year, but we had it renewed for every single year for over 18 years.
So now you're working at Service Credit Union. You're a bank manager. How does that? What made you decide to make this change?
Well, my parents were very busy invested in things like farming and the Black Dirt Company. I had very little to do with either of those businesses. I went to Navy and I did marketing and finance. I got a job with Service Credit Union, great employer. And as I worked my way up through the ranks of Service Credit Union, I became a branch manager. And at that point in time, I felt like I reached my goal there. Right? There was other ways to grow up through that company, but I had to weigh the pros and cons of getting promoted within the company or helping the company that my parents built. And oddly enough, as I was thinking these things, my parents were thinking the same thing, because they were trying to get into retirement. They've already put in 18 long years with the Black Dirt Company. A lot of times they're working 10, 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so when they mentioned it to me, I actually was very interested in, well, geez, how does a bank manager go from being a bank manager to the private sector?
Right.
But the fundamentals of business, they don't change. People deal with who they like, who they know, and who they trust. You've got to have integrity, you've got to be honest, you've got to provide a product, a service, you've got to provide value to what you do. And that's why people deal with you anyway. So is there a huge change? Absolutely. Like, there's a culture shift, there's a definitely industrial shift going from a corporate enterprise or a credit union and finance to the private sector. But the fundamentals of business are essentially the same.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people, well, tons of people, I should say, sit and fantasize about that day when they can move from their job and get rid of their boss and move into this. So what was that like? I mean, what was that transition like? Was it were you sitting there thinking, boy, I wish I was in business, or how was that transition from an employee into an entrepreneur?
I never thought about it that way per se. I did think about, wanting to make something good better. I wanted to make something my own. I never got up in the morning and said I'm going to be an entrepreneur or anything like that. Now that I'm here and I've done it, I can see why you would want to be an entrepreneur. I can see all the pros and cons. There's a lot of good things about it. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things that scare the absolute heck out of you, right? It's very easy to go and work for a very good company like a finance company where you're going to get your paycheck each and every month. You're covered. You've got a group RSP or a pension, and where I was settled. I was happy. I was making a salary. I knew that at the end of my career I could retire. Like that was there. But I was looking for something a little bit more. And when you're looking for that, I wonder if being an entrepreneur might satisfy you in that respect. And so now that I'm here, I don't know if I should say I would never say I'm happy, content, or satisfied, but I would say that it's definitely more rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. So now you moved out from the bank and you moved into the Black Dirt Company, and I talked to our last guest, Jordan Jolicoeur from Carvel Electric, and we talked about vision and how that shapes a company. What is the vision of Black Dirt Company, or what is your vision, I guess I should say?
I'll be honest, we talk about this often, and I struggle with putting myself in a position where I have a vision. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just one of those things where all I want is to be a business where my employees want to go to work and work for us. I want them to go grocery shopping and be proud of wearing their Black Dirt Company hoodie or their Black Dirt Company t-shirt. I want them to be proud when they're out in the community. I want them to want to work for us. I want them to not necessarily be a number, but to be an employee. Know that they contribute to the success of our company. And in turn, if you're good to your employees, I also think that these employees are going to be good to our customers, and we're nothing without our customers. So if you're good to your employees and you make them happy, you do your best to pay them what they're worth, which is not easy in Alberta, right? And in turn, they're treating our customers almost as if they were the owner. That's the intent. It's very hard to achieve that and accomplish that, but I mean, if you can pull that off and create a culture where they do that, that's sort of what my vision would be.
Right. So you act out your vision a lot through your staff, and the staff almost contributes wholeheartedly to that vision. So how do you grow the right team? How do you put the right team in place? Because I mean, it's so, you hear it all the time, oh, we got our guys come in, they're gone right away. What does it take to build the right team?
Well, that's a tough question. I would not have asked that question to myself for many years. Because you watch and you relate it to sports, because you look at the Oilers, right?
Yeah.
Prime example, for 10, 12 years they were horrible, and there was all this turmoil within the organization. And I know it's early. They're doing, I think they're 6-1 right now. But look at all the things that they've done to that team to rebrand it, to invest a new home for them, right? And all of a sudden you get a few key players, you change the culture a little bit, and now they're winning. That's a high-performing team as of right now. I don't know if that's going to be something that's sustained over the long term, but even with Black Dirt Company, what we did is we built a home where we're in the middle of Spruce Grove. We have a nice building, we have 7 acres, everything's nicely organized. I wanted to build a culture that if there was a piece of garbage on the ground, it's not your garbage, but you go still and you pick it up, because you're going to work every day, and that's where you spend more of your time sometimes than even at home. So I wanted to create a culture that if high performers didn't fit in, that they would either weed themselves out, or as things get tougher, you have to weed them out as well. But
now, you do a lot for the community. So I'm going to reverse that a little bit on you. And how has the community, how has Spruce Grove shaped you as an entrepreneur or as a person?
So how has Spruce Grove shaped me as a person? Well, one thing I have to say, because of course technically it's like this, I live in Parkland County. I was raised in Stony Plain, that's where I went to school. And then, after I graduated school, I left to go to Edmonton, and I went to college, and I lived in Edmonton, I went to college, and then I worked as a bank manager and things like that. When I came back to Spruce Grove, I was surprised that there was always this perception of Spruce Grove when you're from Stony Plain or Parkland County that it's just this big city and it's not the same values as Stony Plain and things like that. And I actually don't see it because it's a community that supports its businesses, and so I think it's only fair that the businesses go back and support their community.
Yeah, the reason that I ask is it's a common theme with business owners in Spruce Grove that they're very community focused. They want to give back to their community. So there must be either that or something in the water here. I don't exactly know. But, maybe explain a little bit compete to contribute.
Okay, compete to contribute, we call it CTC at this point because sometimes you start stuttering over the whole compete to contribute. But basically, I was invited to a seminar 3 years ago now where a guy, Peter Diamandis, did a presentation, and he's all about he's a big thinker, but he basically will blow your mind, so to speak, and he only does things that have an exponential impact. And I couldn't stop thinking about his speech after he started talking about this competition that he ended up doing. It's called the X Prize. I don't know if anyone here ever heard of it, but basically the X Prize. And I'm not much into space or anything like technology as far as industry is concerned, but what he did is he went to the private sector and he says, any private company that can fly to the moon and back twice in 1 week will win an incredible amount of money. Okay? There was no timeline, just whoever did it first. Okay? We're not talking NASA, we're talking small private business. And within that competition, the industry itself boomed exponentially because all these private businesses decided to spend a ton of money so that they could go and win this competition. And so the industry itself, the way it benefited, space travel, which is, I feel weird talking about space travel, I know nothing about it, but that's where I started thinking about compete to contribute. I'm like, well, we can do this on a lower level within the tri-region and put this on down and have organizations that specialize in youth to get them to start investing into their community for chances to win big money. And we'll wonder what the impact is. Is the impact that they do by contributing to the community, is it exponential?
Yeah.
And we've proven with our first year that we think, yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. These guys, yes, some of them pick up garbage. Yes, some of them painted fences, right? It sounds like a simple task, but when you teach a 7-year-old to paint a fence or pick up garbage, and then you go and take your kids out for a play date at the park, and they're 30, 40 feet behind you, and you're wondering what they're doing, and they're picking up garbage, and you never told them to pick up garbage. You've made an impact, right? And I can speak from experience if that's happening based on some of the things that we've done through this competition.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's excellent. Peter Diamandis for thinking big. I don't know how many people are familiar with, but he owns a mining company. Only that mining company is mining minerals on asteroids. So if you're talking about thinking big, Interplanetary Resources is the name of the company that he owns. So it really is an incredible story, and yeah, I would totally recommend anybody look him up and if they're looking for a little inspiration. Community giving back, is this a lot that you've taken from your parents? What would you say is the best lesson that you took away from your parents?
Well, there's no question that the lessons that I get from Keith and Bonnie here, they're still here today, I'm pretty proud about this whole thing. It's just pure and simple hard work. Sometimes the going gets tough. You got to work through it. and we don't see enough of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, these are people that they built the Black Dirt Company during a time where things weren't booming. I remember there was a situation where, you know, they did this big play job, and they were proud of it. They were going to get this big play job. They did it, and then the engineers came in and said, no, we only did half of what we promised you. You know, we did it all. They said, no, we did everything you asked, and then some. You can't just pay us half. No, we get paid half. We're engineers, and we know a little bit. We know that based this, and this adds it up to this, and so they're shorted up a bunch of money. And at that time, when you're shorted the kind of money that they were, they could have easily just quit. They could have easily just put their feet up and went back to farming, but they didn't. They had to work through it, right? And those are the lessons that I've learned from Keith and Connie, because, you know, my kids now are getting to the age where math is getting hard and English is getting hard, and they want to quit. But do we teach our kids to quit? I don't know. I would say no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. And if anything endures, it's grit, right? How much can you take before you stop, right? So what I'm going to do is just we'll move into the rapid fire round, where I'll ask you some questions, and just like I said, the best you can answer them, that's what we'll do. So, what is one book that you would recommend for everybody to read in college?
I don't read a lot of books, but if Peter Diamandis writes a book, I think you should go out and read that.
Okay, Think Big is the name of that book.
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, and it is a great book. Businesses could be much more successful if they did this.
Diversify.
Explain how you mean.
Well, for example, Keith and Connie at one time only sold topsoil.
Yeah.
But what do you do when it rains? You can't sell topsoil anymore. So why don't you sell other things like decorative rock, which you can deliver in the rain? You can't just do black dirt. Sometimes maybe in the winter months you gotta do snow removal. So even if you're a realtor, so to speak, and all you do is sell high-end homes, okay? Well, right now the high-end home market isn't very good, right? But anything over $1 million isn't selling. So maybe you gotta start diversifying and selling homes that are $500,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so perfect. So do what you have to do to get by, right? What do you see as the next big industry?
I don't have a good answer to this. Landscaping.
Yeah, perfect. You're on the right track then. If you could have access to unlimited wealth and resources, what seemingly impossible task would you try to take?
Another topic I don't know a lot about, but world peace.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah. And name one person in your eyes who has embodied success.
Not to be cliche, but I'm a football fan. I love football, so I'd have to say Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah, he's doing all right. That's pretty much it, and that's a wrap. So thanks so much for coming out. Like I said, we're all very impressed with everything that you've done, and